Oh boys, here we go. Freaking Maximum Football 2019. Is it actually worth the $30 that the game cost? Now, if you guys are unfamiliar, really quick, if you guys don't know what Maximum Football 2019 is, I will leave a link to a couple of my videos that I did make last week on the game. Basically what it is a Canadian football game that was made by a company based in Canada, but it has a new College Football Dynasty mode. The first College Football Dynasty mode that has been in a football game since NCAA Football 14, which was, what, 6 years ago now? So, yeah, that was exciting to have the first College Football Dynasty mode back in action. But the game finally came out, and is the College Football Dynasty mode actually worth $30? It also has a Canadian Football League like franchise mode, same thing, you can play like Canadian colleges too. But it's mainly being bought because people wanted to play the College Football Dynasty mode. Now, first of all, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below what you think about the game. Did you buy the game? Did you not buy the game? And let me know why you did buy or didn't buy the game. And let me know if you did buy it, how you are liking or disliking the game. Now guys, make sure to subscribe if you are new, turn on the notification bell if you haven't. You guys do enjoy these videos, let me know by smashing that like button. Now with that said, I feel like I'm going to make some people mad today, but I'm just going to give my true and honest opinion. Like, this is just what I believe. Now for starters, this game was made by 3 people. And it's kind of aggravating because every time you say something at least a little bit negative about this, people say, well, give them some respect, dude. Only 3 people made the game. Yeah, I understand that. Like, it's awesome that 3 people made the game and made, like, this whole entire concept come true. But just because 3 people made the game doesn't mean that makes the game better. It just means that that's an excuse. Like, it sounds bad, but it's just the fact. Like, just the fact that 3 people made it doesn't make it any better. But anyways, let me start off by talking about the good things about this game. First of all, the whole entire customization is sick. The fact that you can create your own college, you can create like 50 different logos, you can create your own logos, it's cool. Like, the whole entire customization is awesome. That's what we've wanted in a really long time. And even aside from the customization, like I said, you can create your own colleges, your own uniforms, your own logos, that's sick. Inside the Dynasty mode, the recruiting is actually pretty cool as well. It's pretty in-depth, there's some bugs with it. The recruiting itself is a little bit better than what I expected. Now, there's a lot of really corny things. Like, if you guys go and like actually buy the game, or maybe look at some of my videos or some other videos, when looking into recruiting, it always has a little sentence that kind of gives an odd fact about the player, and it's really weird. I feel like they try a little bit too freaking hard. There's some things like, what's one can I remember? It's like, this guy cosplays as a teddy bear. Like, what does that even mean? Like, why? I mean, there was some that was like, this player doesn't always finish conditioning. That would maybe like impact whether or not you'd recruit a player. But the things like about teddy bears, like, what does that even mean? Like, why? Like, why do we have to have that? So aside from that, I thought the recruiting was really cool. Like, those kind of Easter egg things are cool, but some of them, like I said, like the teddy bear thing, was a little bit too far. Now, once again, the whole entire Dynasty mode had little things that just, I don't know, little things that easily I feel like could be fixed, but it's just not. Like, you know, like little things like the top 25 poll, like the polls. Like, you can't anywhere in the Dynasty menu see the top 25 polls unless I completely missed something. The only way you can see your ranking for a school is if you play them, and once you load into the screen where you pick what team you're going to play as, then you'll see what ranking you are. But like little things, there's not an actual poll that you can see your ranking or see the top 25 rankings. It's a little discouraging, a little aggravating, but that's just a little thing. Other small details that I remember from the Dynasty mode that I didn't like, say when you're looking at the conferences and looking at the conference standings, you can't move over in the menu and look by team. Like little things like that are so easy that could be addressed that weren't in this game mode were just a little discouraging because you feel like it'd be easy. Also, things in recruiting that I can think of is the fact that you can't actually search via interest of a prospect. Like, if, say, you're a very small school and you're starting out as a small school and you want to just kind of focus on recruits that are already interested in you, there's no way to find that. You can only search via, like, the top 1,000 recruits. And a big problem with recruiting as well is the fact that like almost every single prospect had the same exact top 3 favorite schools. It was the school that's supposed to be Alabama, Clemson, and Auburn, which I don't know why Auburn is Mobile, because that's like, they're 5 hours apart. I'm from Mobile. Auburn's 4.5 hours away from me. That's a little strange. But every single prospect, even like the 1 and 2 stars that were like ranked the 900 prospect in the country, their top school is always Alabama, so that easily could have been fixed. Like, if you're a lower tier team, you're not gonna have one prospect off the bat that has you in their top 3. You can only see the top 3 interests that the prospect have in terms of their schools. And you're never, if you're a lower school, if you're not like Alabama, Auburn, or Clemson, like you're pretty much not going to be in the top 3. There's a few outliers. You'll see some like random schools like TCU come in the top 3, but it's mainly just Alabama, Auburn, and Clemson. That's a big thing that I feel like do need to be fixed. Now, also, I saw in the simulation that when you simulate games, first of all, it takes an extremely long time to simulate a week because it has to simulate each game individually, so that's a little frustrating. But one thing that I did see from the simulation is that the fact that the scores are extremely low in the simulation is a little weird. For example, like in the first week I simulated, it'll show you in terms of the conferences how the conferences are ranked. It'll say what is the toughest conference, what's the weakest conference, and they don't play like any FCS team, so everybody in the 130 team College Dynasty League is playing each other in the first week. Well, the first week that I simmed, everybody in my conference, which was the dead last ranked conference in the entire world of college football, I think we won 75% of our games. And the conference that was the SEC, that was the #1 conference in the country, lost like 75% of their games. Alabama lost their first week, I think to like Maryland or something. So even though these teams in these conferences have the higher rated teams, it seems like the simulation logic is completely off the wall. It needs to be fixed. Although I will say, admittedly, it's a small sample size, but just the fact that the first freaking simulation I did on this game was an Alabama game and they lost to like Maryland, that just kind of threw me off for a little bit. But that's a College Football Dynasty mode. So I mean, it's fun, it's customizable, but like the game, outside of the gameplay, how good that could potentially be only goes so far. So this is where I'm gonna make people mad. As mentioned, I know this game was only made by 3 people. But that doesn't change the fact that the gameplay in this game is just not appealing. Like, anybody that says this game is good, anybody that says anything other than the fact that the gameplay itself is very fun and realistic and just an enjoyable process is just, there's something wrong. I don't know what your vendetta against like a EA is. Pretty much everybody that says this game is good has something against EA. Which, I mean, I'm the first person to bash EA if they need to be bashed, but like, this game, the gameplay just isn't fun. The graphics aren't up to par in 2019. And yes, for the 100 comments that's gonna be like, dude, don't be saying this. It was only made by 3 people. Okay, yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that the gameplay isn't good. Like, it doesn't matter if it was 1 or 17 people making it. If the gameplay's bad, the gameplay's bad. You don't sit there and play the game and was like, oh, dang, this game is fun because 3 people made it. No, it sucks. So the gameplay just isn't enjoyable. And like at this point in terms of gaming in 2019, I've seen, especially throughout my years on YouTube, there's way more of a variety especially in terms of sports gaming. At this point, people are just more about having fun in terms of being realistic. It's just like so many things, bro. Like the catching, it looks awful. The players run like they're freaking Naruto running. It's just like everything's so stiff. The player models look very alien-like. The whole replay system's messed up. It's just so many things. Like, it just really does feel like an unfinished product. Now, like, do I personally think this game is worth $30? I think the answer is it depends on your situation. If, like, I know a lot of my audience is younger, and I really feel like this game would only appeal to an older audience that is more about realism and just like a dynasty. If your kind of fun has to rely on the gameplay, don't get this. Now, if you're somebody that wants to get in depth into a dynasty and you're more about the recruiting aspect, maybe. And also another thing is like the $30 going into this game if you're buying it, it could also be seen as an investment because yes, the more money this company makes, the more resources they'll have to be able to create a better game in the future. But it all depends on your living situation. You know, if you have $30 that isn't that, like, it's not gonna make or break your week and what you can spend on food, you know, maybe it's worth trying. But in my personal opinion, just because the gameplay is just so far behind the 2019 standard, I personally don't think it's worth $30. Like, if you don't think Madden's worth $60, it's the same concept. And I know so many people are gonna be bashing me for saying that, but like I said, once again, just because 3 people made this game and only 3 people made the game just doesn't make it better. Now, I gladly gave them $30. I like what they're doing. I like the concept behind it. I like what they're attempting to do. I know they're coming out with a lot of patches. I know the patch is supposed to come out on Xbox, which is what I mainly play on Monday, so maybe that'll change the gameplay a little bit, but just from the beginning, dude, it's just not visually appealing, and to reach a wide audience and for people just to get in the right mindset to sit down and play a video game and have fun, it's got to at least be somewhat visually appealing, and this game just genuinely isn't. Like, everything about it, just the visual aspects, it's just very subpar, very below the standard. I know I've talked to a bunch of other YouTubers, and they pretty much have the same exact opinion, and they actually don't like it even more than I do. I just don't enjoy it. Like, me, from when I played, the videos I recorded, I wanted to get it over with, because it was just not enjoyable. The first game I got into, I wanted to quit by the end of the first quarter, because it just wasn't fun. So that's my opinion. I don't think it's worth $30 unless you want to do the whole dynasty thing and just recruit and just build a school. Maybe it's worth it, but just like if you actually want to play the games, I don't think it's worth it, especially if you're on a budget. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. For you guys saying, oh man, you need to shut up, you're a moron. This game was only made by 3 people. F off.